Greetings, everybody. Fine, how do you do? Say, did you know that after the Second World War, returning GIs, they had basically graduated from reading the comic books, which they were very fond of during the war. They loved reading the stories about how uh, American superheroes and Allied heroes were smashing the enemy. But now that the war was over, uh, they came back and they wanted something more mature, something more adult in nature, adventurous, something more sexy, something that in some ways would remind them of the adventures that they had while in Europe after the war, and for some maybe even during the war. So there was this void, and the golden age was over, and they weren't buying the comics anymore. So who fills this void? But a number of comic book publishers fill the void, and non comic book publishers as well. But Martin Goodman, for instance, who published Timely, Atlas, and Marvel, he's Mr. Comics himself. He published something like 7 or 8 different titles, and his offices, the offices for those magazines, were in the same building, even on the same floor as Stan Lee's office. So a lot of the times, you had people like Norman Saunders doing covers for the men's adventure magazines, and he also did covers for some comic books. So there was that going on, and it's all pretty interesting. So that's what I want to show you here today. And some of the covers, the stories inside were kind of cheesy and exaggerated. A lot of claims were made that based on true stories. A true story is told by so and so who heard it from so and so. And some of the covers were really trick covers to lure you into picking up a magazine and reading it. And I'm going to start showing you these right now. We'll start out with let's say Escape to Adventure. These are the men's magazines that I'm talking about, men's adventure magazines. Now if you look at that cover, it might look like there's something going on between these two naked women, like one's doing something to the other, but it's not. It's just a bondage cover by Mark Snyder. This is from 1963. They're both in bondage and they're not doing anything. But it's just crazy. I got another copy of that here. This might be in even better condition. There's articles in here featuring Marilyn Monroe and Tina Louise. The publisher on this was Escape Magazines. I don't know if they were also publishing comics. This could be. And this one is MT. This is Men's Epic. Some of these covers are going for outrageous prices, hundreds of dollars, like this one itself too. This one I think sells for like $140 to $200 eBay. And it's Norman Saunders, who it's a beautiful Norman Saunders cover. He was a great painter. He did the Mars Attack cards. He was very famous and notorious for those Mars Attack cards. He did the finished, he painted the 55 card set and based on Wally Wood, you know, the rough sketches, and then Bob Powell did some finishing work on Wally Wood sketches, and I think Bob Powell might have even did a card or two. I'm not really sure. It's kind of it's kind of iffy to know that. This is a Wally Wood, beautiful Wally Wood sketch, and painted by Norm Saunders. I don't think Powell had anything to do with finishing the Wood sketch, but you can tell. I can tell this is Wally Wood influences there. And another one, Norm Saunders. This, I think, could have been a Bob Powell card, finished card. One of the very few that he did. But Norm Saunders basically did virtually the whole set. So that's some of Norm Saunders' artwork. This is one of the most notorious cards right here, the Burning Cattle. Let me get that. So you had guys that did comic covers, and some guys that even wrote stories in comics that were also writing stories in these men's magazines and drawing for the covers. Let me show you another one here. This is male. This is this is a beautiful cover. This is by a Martin Goodman magazine from Atlas. As a matter of fact, you can see the Atlas logo right there. See that? Atlas. And this cover is Bob Schultz. He was a very famous illustrator. Martin Goodman books, another Martin Goodman. Atlas magazines. Sexual Adjustment in Marriage. And you know what? There's something else. A lot of these magazines had the same ads as in comic books. Let's see, I wrote down here. This also has a Marilyn Monroe ad in there for greeting card. Let me see, comic strip ad. Pinups. Let me see something here. Sometimes the insides, the ads are so interesting. Let's see if I can find something here. Oh boy. Oh, look at here. Marilyn Monroe greeting cards. If you had a set of those, they'd be worth some money today, huh? I guess this one doesn't have too much in the way of the comic book ads. I don't see anything in this one, but many of them did, and I'm sure I'm going to come across one. But Let's see here. There's a ad in the form of a comic strip. Let's see if I can. If there's any interior illustrations here. No. This one doesn't look too interesting on the inside, but it is an atlas, a Martin Goodman book. We got next another Martin Goodman book, I think. Is this? What did I write on here? No, this is Crestwood. Look at some of the titles in there. A Harem for Poor Men. Bloody, burned, and beaten by hate-torn youth mobs. This cover is by another famous artist, Earl Norham. And Crestwood is famous in comics for their Prize imprint. Prize Comics imprint that was basically run by Jack Kirby and Joe Simon. Prize Comics, for Prize Comics they created the first romance comic book, true romance comic, I believe. Anyway, some people say it's a little bit controversial, but I think that it was the only real, actual romance comic at the time. All the other comics like Archie romance and stuff like that weren't real romance comics in my opinion. Next up I have Jalart. This is Jalart or Jalart publisher. January 1966, and it distributed by Cable News. It's got the K up there for Cable News. I think this one did have some comic book ads. So let me let's see if I can find any of that. Night only. Here, look at the Stag Stories for Men. $2.98. Books for adults. Oh, here. There you go. Comic book ads. 7 Monsters, Outer Space. Oops, what am I doing? The wrong way. This is not an expensive book, so I'm not too worried about the way I'm holding it. Do some adjustments there. Look at X-ray specs. I don't know about that pellet firing 45 automatic, but 7 Monsters from Outer Space, 4 feet tall for $1. Famous comic book ad. X-ray specs, everybody knows it's a famous ad that appeared for years in the comic books, well into the 80s. See if there's anything else. Public posting. Well, guess not. It's got some nice illustrations here. There's some of the illustrations there. This is I don't know who H.W. is, but Johnson, H.W. Johnson, and he also did the cover on it. Whoever he is. I don't know, I find these very interesting. And like I said, some of these covers are going for a lot of money. Not something like this, but I still like having it. Oh, and here's something that's interesting. This is Stanley Publications from 1958, and let's see, what did they do? They had a lot of different imprints. They had a Gilmore comic book was one of the imprints of Stanley, and Aragon was another one. As a matter of fact, I think that the Aragon imprint was the one that produced that famous comic book series, Mr. Mystery. But this cover is interesting, and I'll tell you why. When I seen this cover, I picked it up and I bought it. It only cost me, what did I put in there? $17. And it reminded me of another cover that I showed not too long ago. This one. This is a Neil Adams cover for GI Combat, number 168. I found it interesting. Now, you know that a lot of artists, even Jim Baker, he had file cabinets full of pulp magazines and men's adventure magazines and photographs and newspaper clippings for reference. A lot of artists do that, and I wouldn't doubt if, you know, Neil Adams also has, you know, magazines, you know, for reference, so that they can. I'm not saying that this was one, but it's just curiously similar to that GI Combat. And this one, I think also, now that I think of it, has some comic book edits in it. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at this, yeah. One page you got all this women's lingerie and sexy lingerie. And right on the next page you got 7 gigantic dinosaurs. That was a famous ad in comic books. For Christ's sake, let me put it like this. And let me do some adjustment on my focusing. There. That was a famous comic book ad. Let's see what else is there. There's got to be other stuff. Oh, look at this. This is so obvious. A real mobile tank. Almost everybody that collects any kind of old comics, SilverAge and even Bronze Age, must have seen this ad. Right next to it, look at that, adult movies. Right next to the comic book ad for kids. A real mobile tank for kids. Man, oh man. And the cover on here is by Clarence Dorr. Clarence Dorr, and I don't know exactly who he is, but it was Clarence Dorr. Oh, you know what? There's another ad in here. Now this is an adult, basically an adult men's adventure magazine. And let's see, what did I put in here? I put the pages where the ads were on. Oh, here. Alright, so right there. Ah, crap. Let me focus it in again. Right there. Alright. Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse Club. 10 king-size balloons for $1. And then right next to it you got all this adult stuff. Bedside Fun, only 98 cents. Hey, I'll take it for 98 cents. Oh boy. Oh, now we come to Martin Goodman's personal favorite, Stag. This is, see this imprint there, the diamond imprint? That is Martin Goodman. This was after, this is, oh shit, this is from 1969. It's got a cover in there by Mort Kunstler. You know who he is, a famous artist. Another Stag magazine, 1963. This is when Stag was I don't know who the distributor was. Oh, Diamond. And that was Martin Goodman's distribution. Story in here with Elkie Summers. Another Mort Kunstler cover. Atlas magazine. Is this Atlas finally? Or, well, it is Atlas magazines, but they use the diamond symbol. Another Mort Kunstler cover. And it also has artwork in here by James Bama. James Bama was, for me, he was most famous for his Aurora Universal Monster model kits. He did the cover art for those models. Funny thing is, you can buy guns through, back then you can buy, in 1960 you were able to buy guns. Just to order the guns through the magazine. Let's see, let's see, page 67, I believe I wrote down on page 60, yeah, here. I mean, that was just nuts, I think. 1960. Look at that. 38 caliber. $17. Buy yourself a 38. What other pages did I write down where there was something interesting? Let me see here. 69. What was on 69? Plagiarism. Oh, here. Another gun ad. This time it's for 22 for $12.95. Oh. 1959. Mort Kunstler, I don't know if he did the cover in this, but he does some interior art. It is a beautiful cover, though. It also has art in here again with art by Bob Stanley and Mort Kunstler. James Bama. September 1956. And at that time, before the collapse of American, or that other distribution company, Atlas was still distributing its own magazines. Here you can see the Atlas symbol. Ooh. Alrighty, let's see. This is the last of the Stag magazines that I got. This is from August 1953. The cover is by somebody called James Mees. And got a Marilyn Monroe article in there and some pictures of her. Atlas. Alright, well, let's see here. Oh yeah, I got a lot of, I got a few other ones that I'll show you next time along with some comic books. But this is already going on for over half hour. So there you have some of the stuff we got. I don't know what the fascination is, but the Nazi bondage covers go for a lot of money. You know what? I made myself, I don't have a cup to drink out of. I made myself a smoothie. Bunch of smoothie. Banana, mango, and strawberry. Mmm. It is good. Didn't they have a glass of water here? Yeah, right there. Sorry. Oh. This is good. Wow. That's good. Classic milk bottle. This is actually in the style of a classic milk bottle. It's not an original. I think I paid like I bought two of these, $12. They're manufactured in the style of the originals, and I like to use these to hold my smoothies and put them in the fridge. It has a nice nostalgic milk bottle. Oh shit, look at that. Don't want to drop it. And then I use caps that actually go on water bottles. You can get them online, and they cover these wide openings pretty good. But yeah, so that's about it. I got a lot of other stuff here to show you. I got some stuff that I got picked up from my brother's house out in Aurora, had in storage. I even found an old sled, my old sled from when I was a kid, including this. We used to have these around at Christmas time everywhere on mantles and on the dressers and stuff. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and remember, it's a pretty violent world out there right now, and we got the pandemic going on. So I hope that everybody practices social distancing, wears masks, and try to wash your hands as often as you can. Use hand sanitizer when you can, because all your lives matter. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and be safe.